Hi boys and girls! In this video we are going to be doing science. So if you would please get out your science book, you should open up your book to page 305. And it looks like this. And if you need to take a moment to get your books out, you can pause this video, and once your books are out and ready to go, we can begin. All right, so as you're getting those books ready, you remember that the last couple days we have been talking about the sky, things that we see in the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars, the clouds, things like that, the daytime sky, the nighttime sky, and now we are going to talk about how the sky seems to change at different times. And so if you have your book ready to go, it says, how does the sky seem to change? So throughout this lesson, we're going to try to find the answer to the question, why does the sun seem to move across the sky? Okay. Now it wants us to go through and find two words in the lesson that are our active reading vocab words. So if we scroll through this book, we are going to see the word shadow and the word phases. So on the lines here, you can write in shadow and phases, okay? So shadow is spelled S-H-A-D-O-W, and phases is spelled P-H-A-S-E-S. And don't worry too much about that on this page because we are going to read more about it as we go. Okay, so if you want to pause and get those words put in, awesome. If you just want to skip that part till we learn more about the vocab terms, I'm fine with that too. Right now, I'd like you to turn the page. So now we're going to be on the pages that look like this. And I am going to try to make mine just a little bit bigger here. Let me see if I can make this work out or not. All right, that seems to work a little nicer. There we go. Okay, so looking at this page, I'm going to read it to you. So if you would just use that magic reading finger and follow along as we go. It says, hello, shadow. The sun is the brightest object in the daytime sky. It warms the earth's land, air, and water. The sun seems to move across the sky. When you look out in the morning and you see the sun here, by the end of the day, it seems like the sun has moved across the sky. But the sun is actually not moving. It's really the earth that is moving each day. Each day, the earth turns all the way around. So our earth spins, whee, like a ball spinning around. And as it's spinning around, it looks like the sun is moving, but really, it's the earth that's moving. Sometimes if you're ever sitting in your car and you see another car next to you start to move and it feels like you're moving, but really it's that other object moving, it's that same idea. So the earth is what's spinning while the sun stays in the center. So the active reading box says the main idea is the most important idea about something. So we're going to either highlight or draw two lines underneath the main idea. So let's think about the sun is the brightest object in the daytime sky. Now this whole story is telling us about the sun. So go ahead and underline that. The sun is the brightest object in the daytime sky. Now we're going to go over to page 307. And I will continue reading so you can follow along with your fingers. It says, light from the sun makes shadows. A shadow is a dark place made where an object blocks the light. Shadows can change as the earth moves. The sun's light shines on objects from different directions as the day goes on. Shadows change in size during the day. They change position too. So if we look down here, we see the little girl standing here in the morning, and it appears that her shadow is going this way. Okay, that means the sun is over here rising up in the morning. Around noontime, that sun is right up on top of her, so her shadow seems like it's right underneath her. Then as the day goes on and the sun starts to set over this way, we see her shadow stretching out the other direction. Okay, So it says, at what time of day is the girl's shadow the shortest? Well, looking here, we can see that right in the middle of the day at noon, that means 12 o'clock, noontime, the sun is right above her. So her shadow is very short and right in front of her. So you can put on there noon, N-O-O-N. All right, I'm going to go down to our next page. Whoops, didn't mean to make it that big. Let me go down to our next page here. Let's see. Bear with me, guys. Here we go. All right, so now we are looking at the moon phases. And if I can try to make this smaller, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm working on a new computer here, kiddos. I don't know if you heard, but my computer that I've been using for as long as you've been in my class crashed on me. And so I've been given this as just one of the student computers at the school. And it doesn't always like to cooperate because I'm learning how to use it. There we go. All right. So we're looking here. It says just a phase. Now it is night. You may see stars. You may see the moon. The moon is a huge ball of rock. It does not give off its own light. That's so important to remember. When we see the moon at night, it looks like the moon is lighting up, but really that's not true. It's the moon reflecting light from the sun. Okay, so it says a detail is a fact about the main idea. So one of the details about the nighttime sky is that we might see stars in the nighttime sky. We see the moon in the nighttime sky. So any one of those details you can underline. On page 309, it says, the moon moves across the sky. Its shape seems to change. The phases or shapes you see change as the moon moves. The changes follow a repeating pattern, and that pattern lasts for about a month. So if we look down here at the bottom where we see the different moons, we have the new moon, the first quarter moon, the full moon, and the third quarter moon. We call each of those different moon shapes phases. Now, sometimes we get confused because when we look up at night and we see the moon, it seems like the moon keeps changing shape. Sometimes we only see half of the moon. Sometimes it looks like a little crescent-shaped moon. Sometimes we see the whole big round moon. Really, the moon's shape never changes. It's always the round sphere. But what happens is, depending on where the Earth is in comparison to the sun, it changes the way the sun reflects on the moon, so we don't always see the whole moon. So this box says, today there is a full moon. So write what the moon's phase will be in about a month. Well, it says here that the phases change in a repeating pattern that lasts about a month. So if it's a full moon today, then in about a month, it will be a full moon again. So on this line, you can write full moon. Okay, now we're going to turn to the next page. We have cloudy day and starry night. You can see stars in the nighttime sky. Stars give off light. You see different stars in each season. You can see clouds in both the daytime and the nighttime sky. Clouds change shapes from day to day. So there's no one set shape for a cloud. They can change day to day. Okay? So look here. It says you may see these stars in the winter and you may see these stars in the summer. Now, looking at that, if you're not a scientist who studies the sky, you might not realize the big difference between those, but just what they want you to understand is there are different stars that we see at different times throughout the year, okay? All right, now over here it says these kinds of clouds can be seen on a sunny day, and these kinds of clouds may bring rain. So now it says draw a cloud that might bring rain. So when we see white, fluffy, small clouds, those are just clouds that we see often in the sunny skies. But we know that those heavy, big, thick, dark clouds are the ones that bring rain. So in this box, you want to draw some clouds and make sure that they're dark, big, heavy clouds. Okay? And when you are done doing that, you can move on to the next page. All right, so this last page here says, sum it up. Write the word to solve the riddle. I am fluffy or thin. I am white or gray. I come out on some days and then go away. I am a... Anyone want to take a guess? If you said cloud, you're absolutely right. So on this line, you need to write cloud. C-L-O-U-D. Cloud. All right, so here it says, draw the boy's shadow in the morning. Now we can see that the sun is starting to rise up behind him here, and we know that it will appear that the sun comes up and around and down again, when really we know it's the earth turning. But if the sun is shining here, we know his shadow will cast out this way. So using either a brown or a black or a gray crayon, you can draw the boy's shadow here, casting out in front of him since the light is behind him. Okay, you can actually practice that if you have a flashlight and you take the flashlight and shine it in front of an object, on top of it, and then behind it, and you'll be able to see the different ways that the shadows cast using that flashlight. And that's exactly what happens with the sun. As the earth turns, the sun shines and it casts the shadow in different directions. Okay? All right, so down here at the bottom it says mark it. Cross out the picture of the full moon and put a box around the picture of the new moon. So a full moon is when we see the whole giant sphere. So you can cross out the picture of the full moon, so put an X on that. And then put a box around the new moon. We know the new moon is this one where we don't see any of the moon. It's very dark in the sky, so you can put a box around that. Okay, boys and girls, I hope that you learned something today about the sky. We will continue to talk a little bit more about the different types of clouds and the different stars that we see. You know that clouds are something that we can see all day and night long. The stars we usually only see at night, with the exception of the sun, which is the biggest star that we have, and that one we can see in the daytime. We see the moon usually all day long, but it only appears to glow at night. Okay? All right. I hope you learned something today, and I look forward to learning with you again soon.